Hey there and welcome to this experimentation session about how to ask questions in CRO and how to build a questioning framework. I'm Riccardo and I work as a CRO consultant where I help my clients sort out analytics problem, how to get more insights out of their customer and ultimately how to build a better high-performing optimization ecosystem. So the start of this presentation was sparkled with a single quote that I read, and it is this one: the quality of your life is determined by the quality of your questions. And I think this is such a powerful quote because if you think about it, it means that if you are asking the right questions, you can turn your life around. Think about, for example, asking why can't I do something versus how can I do something, and the difference between the two is night and day. In the first one, you are complaining about why you can't do something and not empowering you to actually solve the issue and thinking about how you can solve the issue. Meanwhile, in the second thing, you are actually narrowing your focus and coming up with ways on how you can fix something, how you can improve something, and things like that. So once I read this, I started asking questions and I started applying questions through all the different areas of my life, through health, through my job, and specifically when it comes to my job, I thought about what if I could apply this quote to conversion optimization? Because ultimately, at the end of the day, conversion optimization is about asking questions. So we are constantly asking questions, even if it is in an unconscious way. We are thinking about who are our customers, what motivates them, is there any friction point that they might have in this journey? Is the messaging correct for them? Does it appeal to them? And like those are just a couple of examples, but I can go over and over about thinking about questions that we could ask about our customer and about the overall optimization program that we are building. So by thinking about this specific question, I came up with this reformulated quote specifically created for optimization and experimentation, which is: the quality of your optimization is determined by the quality of your questions. So even in this field, like in life in general, we can use questions and we can think about questions as a tool to improve the quality of your program, improve the quality of our insights, improve the quality of our testing ideas. So this could be applied in many ways, and as I said, questions are really a guiding tool here, and they enable us to break down the problem and think about how we can solve that by directing our thinking and by narrowing down our focus. So the question here becomes: how do we actually create more powerful questions? Because if we are actually able to create more powerful questions, we can get more insights and more test ideas and more of everything. So how can we do that? And I came up with like a 3-step questioning framework that we can use in order to build and in order to think about questions in a more effective way. Obviously, as I said before, this could be applied to a lot of different areas. So guiding the strategy, for example, when starting out the conversion optimization process, or identify the research opportunities, or even brainstorm new ideas. So obviously a lot of areas that could be applied. And the first step here is identify what is the core problem. So what problem are we currently facing right now? Is this, for example, a problem related to strategy? Is this a problem related to research? Or is this a problem related to testing, for example? Or even, is this related to culture, experimentation culture, or things like that? So the first step is identify what are we currently facing and what are we what is our problem right now. This could be even I don't know what kind of research to start with or something like that. But it's really key that we identify a problem here. The second thing here is to think about the question and think about the question that we could use. Here I mapped out 3 different kinds of questions, which are like the most used kind of question that we could use. For example, the first one is how question. So with those questions like how can I build this? How might we improve this experience? We can understand how we can do something. So understand how we can actually create a measuring framework, or how we can actually choose a research type, or even brainstorm different ideas, because we came up with different ideas once we start a question like how might we improve our cart or product page, for example. The second are why questions. So why questions are especially useful when digging deeper and finding insights. Think about once you finish up your test, usually you are starting to ask why did we get these results, and with that you start thinking about what could be the reasons about it, and actually discovering the why behind the behavior of the user is one of the most important things for insights generation and learning inside the program. And ultimately, the last one is related to what questions, and those could be more toward identify objectives, KPIs, research material, or any different bullet points or list that we want to do about the specific areas. And this is the second part. So the last one is related to action, and you have to think about how you are gonna act and how you're gonna act based on the answer that you get. You should have a rough idea before you're starting out about the response that you might get, and what are you gonna do with the response that you are getting. So this part is fundamental, because a lot of people start by asking a question but don't complete the framework with the action. And I think you should always keep action in the back of your mind when building questions and when thinking about a question. The last point here that I want to make is how not to use this framework, and the key points that I thought about is being too vague. If you are being too vague with your questions or with your problem, like how do we optimize the website? This is like a super broad question that you are asking, and starting with that could be like really difficult to use, especially at the beginning. So the solution here is to break down the vague question into simpler questions that you can ask. Something like, how do we optimize your website? We can think about what are the areas of your website that we want to optimize? What is the research that we have available? What is the current traffic that we have for each of the sections of the website? And by asking simpler questions or sub questions, you can come up with a bunch of different ideas that you can use to respond to like the broader question. And this could be how you can use that. And right now I want to just give you a couple of practical examples which are a little bit more useful for you, and so you can actually understand how to think about this and how to think about the framework in general. So a first example here is during the research process. So for example, let's see that our problem is that we have a limited time, a limited budget, and we need to understand how to prioritize our research efforts. how do we understand what can be researched first and what gets the highest amount of insights and actionable insights. So once we are in front of this problem, we could ask questions like how much traffic does the website have? How much research can be automated? What's the turnaround time for qualitative analysis? And other kinds of questions like what's the available data? Do we need to do any kind of tracking, any kind of additional tracking? And the more questions that you ask, the more you can create a clear picture about what is your current situation and what you can do about it. So the action part is respond to all the questions, and once you have a clearer picture, you can act on that and think about the first research type that you're going to use, the second one, the third one, and so on. The second idea here is when establishing the main CRO strategy. So think about you start a CRO engagement. You're just starting out working with a new clients, and you need to think about what is the basis, what are the core components. So here you should ask questions like, what business problems are we solving? What KPIs are we focusing on? Which areas of the website should we start researching first? And all the different questions that we are asking here are geared toward establishing the basis of our CRO strategy. So the more questions you come up with and the more responses that you get, the more precise you can be with the actual outcome that you are generating from this. So I want to leave with a takeaway, which is we as CRO people use questions all of the time. We are using those in an unconscious way. So I think that if we took the time to use them more consciously, and if we think about mapping those out and writing those out and thinking about how we can ask more powerful questions, we can even we can improve our efforts, and we can improve our ability to use insights and to get more valuable insights. So I hope you understood that questions are really powerful, and please take your time to master them, use the framework, and this is the end of my presentation. I hope this is gonna useful for you, and if you want, you can contact me through email or reach out if you want in my website, or shoot me a message on LinkedIn. I always respond to every LinkedIn message, and I cannot wait to connect with all of you in the community. Talk to you guys soon, and hope you are enjoying all the other sessions. Have a nice day. Bye bye.